What is allusion? So if we're talking about allusion, the verb is to allude. So an allusion is to refer to something. So let's say you're reading a book, right? So here's your book. So your writer makes a reference. He talks about something in his book. He refers to something and he assumes, he makes an assumption. He supposes that without proof that you know what he is referring to. Now these allusions can be for many different things. They could be for literature, they can be for religion, politics, music, and more. Let's say we're in the year 3000 and I'm writing a book. There's my book. And I make an allusion. The room reminded me of my pandemic room. So we know what this means because we're all going through this pandemic. We're all aware of what's happening. This is a huge event. This is a global event. So even in the year 3000, if I'm a writer and I make an allusion to this pandemic, a reader in the year 3000 may not know what I'm talking about. But you and I, who have lived through it, will know exactly what the reader or the writer is talking about. The room reminded me of my pandemic room. You know, after living in a room for so long and being stuck in your house, your room tends to get messy. So that's what the allusion is. That's what the reader is trying to allude to. So if you don't know the allusion, your writer doesn't care. Your writer is going to make the assumption that you know the allusion. He or she doesn't care if you don't know it. If you don't know it, you can look it up. So that is something to keep in mind. Your writer does not care if you don't know what he or she is talking about. You are also confusing allusion and illusion. This is a reference to something. This is a magic trick. Right? So let's say, you know, we pull the rabbit out of the hat. That is an allusion. So a reference or, so like the food in the poem that you just read, that is an allusion to the poem that you read called Harlem. Sorry. Okay. Keep that. So let's do examples of allusion. Don't act like a Romeo in front of her. So the Romeo is a reference to Romeo and Juliet, which is Shakespeare. This is probably making a reference to saying that the boy is falling in love with the girl, saying that, oh, don't become, you know, a blubbering idiot in front of her. Okay? That is an allusion to a Shakespeare play. Okay? One of the biggest types of allusions that you're going to see are biblical allusions. So that's things from the Bible, things from Christianity, things from religions. This is probably one of the biggest examples. Here's an example. This place is like the Garden of Eden. For those of you who don't know, the Garden of Eden is like an old story from the Bible, or the Old Testament. So this can be an example of an allusion taking place in the story, right? It's alluding to the Bible is alluding to a biblical story. But those of us who maybe aren't religious, those of us who don't celebrate any holidays, maybe we don't know that. Does the author care? No. That is his allusion. That he did that for a reason. He did it to create meaning. He did it to prove a point. And it is your job as the reader to do research if you're not sure what the allusion is, because your writer put it there for a reason. And your job is to find out why and what the meaning. All right, and as usual, if you need me for anything, email me at missgalfars@gmail.com. Please do your assignment